The first thing Alice did after being reborn was to not marry the man she deeply loved in her previous life, but instead chose a playboy as her fiancé. Her grandfather repeatedly advised Alice to think carefully, because once the marriage contract was set, it could not be changed. But Alice insisted on choosing the playboy. In her previous life, Alice had chosen Steve without hesitation, but Steve died unexpectedly not long after their marriage. For his sake, Alice never married anyone else her entire life, until Alice was 80 years old. She accidentally learned that Steve had actually married Jessica, the family maid, and had children with her in the countryside. Only then did she realize Steve had never died. When faced with Alice's accusations, Steve even said that marrying her had been forced, and that he only ever loved Jessica. Heartbroken, Alice accidentally knocked over a candle, and both of them perished there. Before he died, Steve even said he only wanted to be with Jessica, but when Alice opened her eyes, she found herself reborn. On the very day of choosing her fiancé, her grandfather urged her to quickly choose one among the 4 young men. He knew Alice liked Steve, so he intended to make the decision for her, but Alice chose Benjamin instead. Grandfather said that among the 4, he was the most irresponsible, but Alice, carrying the memories of her previous life, knew that Benjamin would achieve great success in the future. Seeing her determination, her grandfather respected her decision. Alice even asked her grandfather to keep her choice a secret, and let her announce it herself at the engagement banquet 7 days later. But before Alice could announce it, Steve unexpectedly declared that he already had someone he loved, and begged Alice not to choose him. Alice recalled that in her previous life, he had never refused and realized that he too had been reborn. Alice asked Steve if he was so sure she would choose him. Steve replied that it would be best if she didn't. Seeing how confident he was, Alice didn't say anything more, but reminded them to be sure to attend the engagement banquet in 7 days. Just then Jessica rushed out, knelt before Alice and begged her to forgive Steve. But Steve pushed Alice aside and helped Jessica. Alice was about to fall, but luckily Benjamin caught her in time. Steve warned Alice not to target Jessica anymore, otherwise he would never marry her. After saying this, he left with Jessica in his arms. The other 3, seeing that the fiancé had already been chosen, were about to leave as well, but Alice stopped Benjamin again, reminding him to be sure to come to the engagement banquet. After returning to her room, Alice saw the room full of Steve's belongings, and told the servants to throw all that trash away, but she couldn't find the pipa her mother had left her. From the servants, she learned that Steve had taken the pipa and given it to Jessica, so Alice went to take back her pipa. At Steve's door, she overheard that Steve fell in love with Jessica because of her pipa playing, but in truth it had been Alice playing the people back. Then afterward, she had asked Jessica to clean the instrument, but Steve had seen it, mistaking Jessica as the one who played. Now that Alice knew the truth, but she had already seen through Steve, so she didn't reveal it, and instead simply asked Steve for her pipa back. Who would have thought Steve said, "Isn't it just a pipa?" He would return it to Alice right away. With that, he left the room. At that moment, Jessica called over the puppy. She and Steve